Hello, and thanks for joining us for another Five Things podcast. I've got a couple great guests here today. Thanks for joining us, fellas. Elijah Smith and Gilbert Smith. No relation, surprisingly, although we're probably related somewhere along the line. And I like to start off with a little introduction here. Elijah Smith, 23 years old, just turned 23. Happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
We're both Virgos, so we got that going for us.
Best thing.
Here in Colorado Springs, where you all live, and it's absolutely beautiful here.
Yeah.
Got a little rain off in the mountains right now, looking like that, but just stunningly beautiful here. And your MMA record, you're 9-1 as a pro. You were 5-0 as an amateur, and you signed to the UFC right after your 22nd birthday. 2 days after, if I'm not mistaken, right? It was the 17th of September, I think.
Days. No, it was actually 12 days.
12 days, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now we have to start the podcast over. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Father to Naomi.
Yes.
An aspiring musician, and a fellow Virgo. I already said that. And other than that, the thing I like to throw out, you have my grandson has your name, or you have my grandson's name, which is right out of the gate when I saw that on Contender Series. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I liked you right away, just from that one thing.
Your grandson's name is Elijah?
Elijah, yeah.
Nice, cool.
Yeah. So, of course, we're going to talk a little UFC today, but that's not majority of what I want to talk about. A lot of my content that I've created over the years is about success principles and how to level up and mindset and things like that. And I do have a question. And we're going to talk cigars. We're going to talk family, and more importantly, I like to know about the soul of a person. What we do is not as necessarily as important as who we are, although they're related. Let me ask you this. It's been a whirlwind over the last 12 months for you, basically getting signed, having a couple fights. You're on ESPN, number 4 on the countdown. What's the last 12 months been for you? We'll start with you, Elijah.
I would say the last 12 months for me, I mean, it's been crazy. It's been crazy in a great way. I mean, we just passed up on a year with being in the UFC for a year, which I got my contract September 17th of last year, 2024. So, I mean, just to see, where we came from fighting in a smaller promotion like Fury to going out fighting in front of Dana White on the Contender Series to my debut, and then having a viral moment back on August 9th. It's like everything had just been coming at me super fast, but I've been enjoying the whole process, and to do it with people that that I love and care about, and give them experience as well. I can't ask for more.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be a crazy experience. And I know we said we'd kind of start with Elijah here, but I do want to hear what it's been like for you for the last 12 months as well.
Yeah, for the last 12 months, honestly, it has been crazy, just more pressure. For me, I'm on the other side of it. I'm just the coach. I'm the guy in the background. So it's all work, right?
Mm-hmm.
Every fight is tough. Every fight is a problem. So I try to stay focused and don't let anything really get to me as far as like, okay, now we're in the UFC. Doesn't matter. We still got to fight.
Mm-hmm.
So not a lot has changed. We keep grinding and we keep moving up and up and up. But honestly, I'm just excited to see like my son be successful at this sport, because it's a very difficult and dangerous sport. So I don't think a lot has changed for me, honestly.
And just doing my research and obviously following the journey the whole time since Contender Series, you seem to do a really good job of, I'm coach in these moments, and then I'm dad in these moments.
Right.
It seems like you're really good at separating the two. How do you feel about that?
Honestly, I feel like they're both almost the same thing.
Okay.
I was gonna say, I was gonna say the same thing. I feel like him, coach and dad, were like, it's kind of like they're all in one. I don't really see like a difference between the two, because he's already always honest, and whether it comes with life experience or like at my MMA career, when I see him, I see. Even now, I see him as dad and coach, as he's sitting right here.
Mm-hmm.
When I go out in the cage, I see him as dad and coach. It's just like one of those things. We kind of know like when the, what occasion, when the occasion is right, like he'll become that person. But
yeah. So like, okay, so when it comes to like being like dad and coach, I think about like my other fighters. And some of them may not have like a real dad,
Sure.
in their life, and they have actually came to me and said, "Hey, you're almost like a dad to me.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think a good coach is going to be like that father figure,
Mm-hmm.
even if we're not blood or actually related. So it's all about me caring about my guys and just giving them what I would want back when I was fighting.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I look at it. So for my son, the only thing that's different is that we take some of that emotions home with us.
Mm-hmm.
As in like another fighter, we like do all the same things, nothing changes, but then we separate. You go home and I go home, and we probably don't see each other for a week or two, like after a fight. With him, I'm gonna see him that night, the next day, whatever case may be. So that's the only thing that's different, is that we actually take some of the emotions, wins and losses,
Mm-hmm.
home with us, and we have to deal with that. And I have to be that solid ground for him almost all the time. And that's the only difference.
Yeah.
You just take it home.
Well, it's a great asset to have that, for you, Elijah. And going back to I'll call it the slam heard around the world, the KO. I heard a rumor on the internet, and I wanted to check with you on this. Is it true that you started smoking good quality cigars and that contributed to the slam?
100%. 100%. That is the only reason. As a matter of fact, we were in the warm-up room smoking a cigar, and we're like, this is what's going. We're gonna go for this slam KO.
Yeah.
See, I needed a cigar during my time I was fighting, because then I'd have got a slam too. So you cheapen my career.
Yeah. Well, hey, we live and learn.
Yeah.
And that being said, we got the Swift cigar coming out in the very near future. By the time, I don't know when we're going to release this podcast, to be honest, probably in the next month or so. I want it to correlate when we're kind of launching, but I can't wait for the Swift cigar. I can't wait to smoke one again. I've smoked the example of what it'll be, but having the actual label and all that kind of stuff is going to be so cool. Just to kind of see things come to fruition. But kind of my read on you initially, Elijah, like I actually, when you were talking on the Contender Series and this and that, you give off the vibe of a veteran son.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting because you're very respectful. You got kind of this, young chip on your shoulder, like you could tell, like, don't fuck with me. You got that side, but you also have this really good, genuine soul about you to where you're respectful. And, I'm sure a lot of that comes from you, and you could just tell, like, you want to do good things with your life. And so you got kind of that nuance right now. And I'm sure that there's a pull sometimes to go this direction too much, but this is the direction you actually want to go in.
Yeah. And I want to say, like, I kind of developed that kind of mindset when I became a father, which was early in my high school career, my sophomore year,
16, right?
16, and it kind of just like shift my whole thinking process into like, Elijah, do you want to be just another name, or do you want to be a somebody?
Mm-hmm.
And like with all the ups and downs and everything that I've had, with going through that, I feel like now I keep telling everybody I'm a pretty optimistic guy. Like I always see like the beauty. I'm always trying to see the beauty of it in everything. Like I'm not scared to jump in the deep end and see if I could swim.
Yeah, I have full mindset. You swing for the stars, and if you come up a little short, you still made it to the sky.
Like I still attempted. You can't. That's something that you can't take away from me. Is that at least I went out there and tried. And if I could at least say that, I tried and it didn't work, then okay, then it just wasn't for me.
Right. Or that's your one chapter. I mean, just the fact you've made it to the UFC, even if I don't think like this, and I certainly don't foresee this, but let's say you spin off 4 losses in a row and you're out of the UFC.
Yeah.
You were still a UFC fighter.
Yeah.
Like I was in the 82nd Airborne Division. I love the fact that I shot a M203 grenade launcher and jumped out of planes and made sergeant in 2 years and 4 months. So, that's always going to be a badge of honor, no matter what happens going forward. So, Gil, what was Elijah like? Let's call it, let's say like 3 until about 10. What was the personality?
The sad thing about that is like I wasn't around during that time frame.
Okay.
And you mentioned your military service.
Yeah.
I was serving in the Army, and then then after the Army, I did civilian contracting for almost 3 years in Iraq. So I was gone from the time he was, I don't know, from 3 to like 8, and I was gone for like 4 years.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But I would come home
It's
and,
tough. You're trying to provide for your family,
right,
you know?
right. And I think his mother and his sisters did a really great job, keeping Elijah stable and
Mm,
keeping him active. But uh, he was always a kid that like just active. He was just a kid that was active and strong-willed and wanted to be something. Like I remember his first wrestling tournament, and I remember like being so nervous for him. I was just thinking in my head, I was like, all right, my son probably gonna lose this. I don't know why I was thinking like I was putting it in my head. I was putting it,
Okay.
yeah, because the problem is even when I was home, I was working nights. So when he would go to wrestling practice, I wasn't there. His
mhm,
mother would take him. So I actually never seen him actually practice wrestle.
mhm.
So I was telling my son, I was like, hey, listen, man, just go out there, do your best. It doesn't matter if you win or lose, the fact that you're trying. And he looked at me like, yo, I'm going to win. And I saw this confidence that it was shocking. And he went out there and smashed the kids. I can't tell you how, for almost 3 years, he went undefeated.
That's
And
awesome.
he was making so many kids cry. He would pick them up, slam them. That was his thing. Back when he was like 6, 7, 8 years old.
Nice.
And he just had this confidence that it was just shocking to see. But I would like to think that he got it from me because he kind of been around me in my fight career.
Mhm.
But honestly, I don't know what it is. He was just born with it. No, I want to take some credit, but I think it was just him just wanted to be something.
We are a Virgo, so you got that going for you,
What was that?
And, I do believe that there's, like, when you talk to a lot of people, like Evan Elder, for example, we did a podcast, like, he knew he was going to be a fighter from like 7.
Mm.
I do believe I knew I was going to be a business owner
See, I said
as
that.
long as I can remember.
I said that same thing, and I told my girlfriend this, and I was like, I always knew I was gonna be some type of professional athlete. Like I knew I was gonna be great. I just didn't know at what. But I just knew that in the point in time, I thought I was gonna be a football player.
Mm,
I was like, man, I had these dreams of going to doing great in high school, getting scholarships, going to a big college, and just getting drafted. That was like I could just envision it. I thought it was gonna be that easy. And when it didn't happen that way, I was like, okay, I still have this athletic ability. What do I put it towards?
mhm.
And I knew I had a wrestling background. And during COVID, we started training and ended up, I was like, okay, I'm actually kind of good at this.
Yeah.
So when I when I became a pro fighter, that's when I knew I was like, Elijah, you're onto something.
Mhm.
And it's something that I always knew that I would be when I was younger. I just didn't know what path.
How it was going to play out. Yeah.
But I knew at some point in time I would be in the position that I'm in today. And sometimes it's still a little scary to me. Sometimes I get nervous because I'm like, whoa, Elijah, like you like words of affirmation.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, well, it actually happened. Like you actually did. You're doing everything that you said that you would do and or
Right.
become. So I mean, I say it all the time. Life is crazy.
Yeah. It's I don't want to go too far down that path, but there's something to that to where just sharing a personal story, like before my mother passed, she sent me a bunch of boxes of stuff. And one of the things was, I don't know when I did this, but I wrote a book. It was little papers. I had stapled it and I made it was me with a little suit and tie on, and I had my own jet and this building there. I own the building. And I made a little book, and I want to write. There's 2 books I want to write, but it was like, where does that come from? It's just fascinating to me
Yeah.
that sometimes you just have it in you, and it plays out.
Yeah. That's why I like to go on hikes. I like to go out there, and it just like kind of like gives me a place to like meditate.
Yeah, exactly.
And like just to just think and just maybe game plan or just just sit there and just meditate, like I said.
Well, I'm sorry. I would say the one thing I believe I gave my son is just the hard work, right?
Mhm.
Hard work, dedication. Because I always tell him, and I tell everybody this, like I was never the smartest, the fastest, the strongest, or cutest, whatever person,
Mhm.
but I just had a sickening work ethic. The fact that I came from the streets of Jersey and New York, and I came from the '80s, during the crack epidemic,
Mm.
and this was my upbringing. And my parents, I love them, but they didn't do anything.
Mhm.
So, like, my father did not pass me down a legacy. He didn't show me anything. He didn't teach me anything. The only thing I was taught is like from the streets and whatnot. But I just knew that I can be more. So that's why I joined the army when I was 17 years old, and from there I was able to like accomplish things, go to school, become a business owner, a professional fighter,
Mm-hmm.
and I hope that those examples gave my son the inspiration he could also be something.
Mm-hmm.
Just by like just showing like, hey,
Your example, yeah.
exactly, a living example, and funny enough, he did it. He did it, so it worked out.
That's awesome. So Elijah, after going 5-0 as an amateur, you had a 2-0 pro start, and then you lost by KO in the third round of your third fight. Part of what I want to talk about is something I heard you talk about. There's two things actually. You actually thought about quitting at that point, and there's so many things I want to say about this because it's so important. And I sent a clip of Conor McGregor to you guys earlier today, and I want to reference that, and we'll probably put that in the podcast. But Conor didn't fight for a couple years.
Yeah, I didn't know that actually until I saw that clip.
Yeah,
Okay.
He said 2 years. I was like, damn.
And yeah, and so at the end of the day, John Kavanaugh really pulled them back in, and kind of that's the power of having the right people around you. Because think about this, Conor McGregor could be a plumber right now.
Yeah.
That's what he was doing.
Yeah.
And he hated it, but he'd probably be a plumber if it wasn't for John Kavanaugh probably really pulling on him. And Conor felt
By
like
the way, plumbers are cool. Plumbers
yeah,
are cool.
nothing against plumbers.
Yeah,
but I'd rather be worth $400 million than Conor McGregor, have his lifestyle. Nothing against plumbers. I know plumbers that do very well, by the way.
Yeah.
Contractors make great money if you're good and ethical and all that. But the power of having the right people around you is a principle that cannot be understated. Conor had John Kavanaugh. So you have this experience, and now you're dealing with that frustration of losing. You're dealing with those emotions of losing. And you talk to mom, and mom did what moms do. They love on you. They just want to love on you and this and that. And then you talk to the dog, and he's like, we're not quitting. He said, if you go out and, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you go out and win a fight or two, and if you want to quit, then we can think about quitting.
Yeah, it was just around like that same, that's basically what he said. He said, if you want to quit, how about we go out there and go out with a win first,
Mm-hmm.
and then if you want to stop fighting, then I'll leave that in your court, leave that ball in your court. There was also another thing too that kind of played in my head. So I mean, just going back to the fight, so I was 2-0 as a pro, and fought a guy, Junior Cortez, really
who's a very good fighter, by the way.
Really talented fighter.
He's lost twice in twice in the Contender Series, but he lost to Christian Rodriguez
and Peyton Talbot.
I mean, you lost to some real dogs. So the guy's good.
Yeah,
so you can kind of rest your hat on that too.
But I was just so naive, and I was just so big headed that I was like, nobody can beat me. Because I was 5-0. I was 5-0 as an amateur.
Yeah.
2-0 as a pro with two
straight
good finishes. I'm like, I don't care who you are. You can be 10-0. I'm gonna beat you. So it's like when you run into that brick wall, and you're like, man. I started thinking like, am I as good as I think I am? And I tried to like put things in perspective, because after he beat me, he got another call back up to the Contender Series, and that's when he fought Peyton Talbot. And I was like, damn, if he beat me and he got a call up to the Contender Series,
you're right there.
What does that say for me, somebody who's now 2-1 as a pro? I'm like, okay. So when I was going up and down. I was like, Elijah, where's the affirmation? I was trying to talk myself out of it.
Sure.
But then after that, you go into, I had some bad sparring rounds as well. Jiu-jitsu tournament, I ended up losing. I was like, why does it feel like I'm losing right now? But
it's the universe testing you.
Yeah, it was literally, that's what it felt like. I was like, why am I being tested right now so hard? I'm like, I'm thinking about all my other friends. I'm like, none of my friends have to go through this. Like, none of my friends have to, they don't know that feeling of getting ready for a fight and stepping in the cage, or having to make weight, or you're face to face with another guy that wants to take your head off. I'm like, sometimes I ask myself, I'm like, Elijah, why am I doing this? But then when I go out there after the loss, and I go out and beat a guy named Demus Chopper, who was 3-1, and I submit him in the third round, I'm like, that's why I do this. That's why I do this. Because it's that, like, there's no other feeling out there that that'll make you feel the way that you feel after winning a fight.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
And you basically rattle off 7 wins in a row now.
7 wins and a viral moment, one that's gonna be remembered forever.
Right. And so now you're feeling pretty comfortable. This is what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah, but
you know, but
now,
you had the dark night of the soul.
But now, ever since that happened, like I never I never overthink my opponent or downplay him. But 2, I always know that what the possibility is, which is you can always, it might not be your night tonight.
Mm-hmm. And it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, and it's not the end of the world because when I feel like I was talking to one of my other training partners, his name is Isaiah Diggs, and he just recently lost a close fight, and he was saying that he was happy just to get that loss over with because he was undefeated. And that a lot of the times it takes a huge weight off your shoulder because you have everybody has seen you do was win since your amateur career, and you're like, now that the competition is getting tougher and these wins and losses actually mean something, now you're just like you're just putting extra weight on your shoulders.
I can't tell you how many athletes I've spoken to in the UFC at this point that have said the loss was the best thing that happened.
Kamaru Usman.
I mean, there's GSP lost fights, and that's GSP. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I want to say something about that loss because, seeing my son lose, and especially by a KO, I mean, that was a very tough situation.
Sure.
Like, I mean, to see any fighter that you care about lose in that fashion, it's tough. But to see your own son,
I can imagine, yeah.
Right. But my only advice to him is like, this is the game, and you were built tougher than this. Don't let this define you. My saying is that a loss does not define you, but it can refine you.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, we can learn so much from this and grow and become better and stronger. We can't go out like this. I mean, that's a punk, honestly, because you take a loss, you can go home and cry and all that stuff. That's fine. You can live in emotion for a second, but now we got to man up and get back out there because you got so much talent. And the one thing you don't want to do is when you're 40, 50, 60 years old and you say to yourself, man, I wonder, what could have been.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it was very difficult for him. And I remember those training sessions, like you said, sparring sessions was really tough. Even the one grappling tournament he did, like he won his division. And then you did what, which one you lost? Was it the gi or was it open weight?
It was no, I can't remember.
Right. But he lost the second one, and it was against another guy who actually was like, who competed so much. If you look at his record, and I was like, Elijah, you gotta stop looking at these wins and losses as like it truly defines you. Like because you competed against a guy who got way more experience than you, and you lose, you feel like you suck. No. He just showed you got areas that you need to get better at. Yeah. And that's why we do this. Now in the MMA fight, it's way more difficult because there's like money on the line and stuff like that. But we have to take these little losses and build from there. And I mean, he did it, and now we 7-0, and with a bunch of good guys, and now we moving on to the next step. So I'm so thankful that he actually took that loss, because of that loss, he's became a way better fighter.
Well, you're actually a better fighter because of the loss.
Yeah, 100%.
You win or you learn, and that was the learning opportunity.
And at that time, I had dreads. I had dreadlocks.
Okay.
And
so the dreads had to go.
They had to go.
I told him that. Yeah, I told him that.
But I'm a big believer. Like hair tends to hold a lot of energy.
Okay.
So I felt like when I cut my hair, it's like a restart. Like I was reborn again.
Okay.
And I mean, since then, I've done nothing but go out there and show the best Elijah Smith that I can possibly show, and the results have shown from it. So I think that was probably another good decision on my life.
Just to change it up.
Yeah, just to change it up, and just like it felt like a restart. Because when I cut my hair, I was sad. I was sad because I love my dreads. I was growing them for about 3.5 years. They're about shoulder length, and I was like, I can't. I have to do something that's I need to switch it up. And yeah, it worked out. It worked out perfectly.
Psychologically, I think when you look in the mirror, you're seeing a different person.
Yeah.
And so it's like, this is the new Elijah going forward. So that old dude with dreads got beat.
Yeah.
This new, it's almost like a daily reminder psychologically, like I'm a new person now. I got rid of that old guy with the loss.
I
Not that
felt
a loss
good.
is the end of the world going forward. Going forward either.
Yeah.
The one thing I want to say about that is I just totally lost my train of thought. Here's what I want to say. The one thing that I feel that, and again, just being a lifetime business guy, I feel most people don't work on their self-image. It's one of those things. It's easy to work on skills and this and that. And I'm talking to me. I'm talking like selling the company when I sold, and this concept of the cigars, and I've had those thoughts of like, who do you think you are?
Mm-hmm.
Why would a fighter want to partner with you?
Mm-hmm.
Why would you know
Yeah.
what makes you think you can develop these hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue? So I've had to deal with that. And I feel like I've done a lot of work on myself over the years, and I've still had those little,
Voices.
the little voices. And it's like, and one of the things, a little technique that I learned a while back by Vishen Likiani, it's our brain is a supercomputer. And if we ask it a question, it'll give us an answer. And so what we have to do, and my recommendation to pro athletes, for whatever that's worth, this and $8 will get you a latte now.
Okay.
But ask yourself good questions. Why do I deserve to be a champ in the UFC? Well, I got a good heart. I'm a dad. I want to take care of my family. I want to run a world-class gym and, contribute. So what happens, you ask yourself that question, your brain starts kicking you answers. The other thing is, if you ask the wrong question, it'll give you answers and it'll reinforce the negative beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to ask ourselves the right questions on a regular basis. And if I'm feeling doubt on something, or I'm feeling this and that, or like with all the humidors in here, and we were talking about the work and all that stuff, if I get too focused on the work and I start getting a little, this sucks, blah, blah, blah. It's like, I'm taking my eyes off the prize.
Yeah.
I got to ask myself better questions. Why am I doing this? Well, I'm going to boom and legacy. And, so, there's so many things that people can do to build your self-image, because we do who we think we are. If somebody's robbing a bank, that's because they kind of see themselves in that world. If you're out putting in the work and grinding and paying the price and sacrificing and not eating the cheesecake, it's because you see yourself as a champ, and a champ doesn't do that. So if I can give anybody listening to any advice as the old 51-year-old wisdom, it's work on self-image, because it's one of those things that we're not taught that. And I don't want to jump out of the podcast because we're going to talk about things that we're taught in school.
Well, I mean, I will add this. Self-image is definitely important. But the biggest thing that I tell people when you ask yourself, why do I deserve this? And I always say, you deserve nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You don't deserve anything. It's what you earn.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And if you want to become a champion, you have to earn the right to become a champion.
Mm-hmm.
And then that comes from hard work and dedication.
Sure.
And most people are not afraid to lose. They're afraid to win. People are afraid to win because winning requires sacrifice. Winning requires pain. Winning requires having to deal with those dark moments. And most people will run away from that. It's easy to lose. Just get up and suck at life. Just suck at life. Just don't do anything, you'll lose. That's so easy to do. And then after that, you can come up with 1,000 excuses to why you lost, right? You can blame it on this person, you can blame it on that person, you can say this, you can say that. But winning requires for you to actually go through the fire and get burned multiple times, right? So to me, if you want to be a champion or a great businessman, if you want to have that $100 million business or whatever the case may be, or even a family or good education, if you want to accomplish anything in life, you have to be willing to work. And you have to be willing to be 100% dedicated to, like you're a horse with blinders on. That's all you see, right? You see the hard work, you see the vision, you see the goal, but you understand it's going to require hours. For me, growing up, back when I first started, I gave up time hanging out with the homies and going out to the clubs and drinking and smoking. I didn't do any of that.
Different priority for you.
So I get people that come to my gym and they say, Coach, oh man, I couldn't make it in because I was busy. I said, you was busy? Okay. Do you have 3 kids? No. Are you running a business? No. Are you in college working on your master's? No. You probably got a job. I give you that.
Mhm.
You probably got a job. Okay. Are you training to become a professional athlete? No. Of course no, because you haven't been coming to the gym.
Right.
So tell me, how busy are you? You're not really
It's
busy.
priorities.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If I was some pretty girl with a big butt and big tits and everything, you will find a way to get to me.
Right.
Right. So if you want to be successful, you have to be willing to put in the hard work and cut out the BS. You
Mhm.
could find time. For me, that's what I was doing. I was raising 3 kids. I was a husband and I was a father of 3 kids. I was running a business. I was going to school. I was training to become a professional UFC fighter. And I was doing all that at the same time. I would go to work, come home, go to the business, train, teach, coach, go back home, spend some time with the kids. They go to bed. After that, I'm doing homework. That was my daily routine. Okay. And if I wasn't willing to put that work in, I wouldn't have none of this. He wouldn't be here right now.
All right, you got me fired up, Gilbert. I want to go to the gym now.
I'm sorry.
Got me fired up.
You're right.
Question for you, Gil. How important is it for young athletes to be open to constructive criticism?
I mean, constructive criticism is going to be the thing that's going to help you get to the next level. It's like you need it. If you're around a bunch of yes men or people telling you how good you are or whatever the case may be, you really going to suck.
You're not going to grow.
You're not. You need to be willing to take some butt whippings, either physically, emotionally,
Or both.
mentally,
Yeah.
all the above. And I promise you, it may not feel good at the moment, and we have all been there in some form or fashion. It doesn't matter if you're a fighter, athlete, or just a regular person. We have been there. But we know that that's not going to hold us back. If anything, that's going to propel us to the next level. If we could take away small victories, even in a bad situation, just like his loss. Okay, I mean he got finished in the 3rd round, which is very hard to grasp. But if you look at the fact that the person you was fighting, and you had moments when you was doing good. We just kind of lost our mindset in the 3rd round. So if you could take away small victories so you don't constantly beat yourself down. We don't need that either.
Right.
Okay. So small victories, and then we say, okay, we did bad here. Then we learn from that. Okay. So you give yourself some flowers, and then you be real with yourself, with other people also doing the same thing. Say, hey man, you did good there. But that part, we don't want that.
Got to keep working.
You're going to grow from there.
Which I commend you, Elijah, because you seem to be very humble about a lot of things. You seem to be very open. Sometimes I'm sure it can be challenging because it is dad. Like I didn't want my kids to work for me at a young age. I wanted them to go work for someone else, learn what boss is before you come to work for me, because I'm going to be the boss. I'm not dad here. So that's I get the impression you're very open to feedback, and you clearly got the work ethic and the drive and all that stuff.
But I'm super open to feedback, but I'm also I also give my own feedback back to him.
Well, good. It's critical thinking too. Yeah.
He told me when I'm where I could be making mistakes, because I have this idea in my head.
Are we talking about leg kicks here?
Yeah.
All right.
Leg kicks, but also in different ways of coaching style. I have some things I might be better than other things, like when we talk about code names or stuff like that, or what makes the most sense. Because I mean, when I grew up and I was playing football, there's always that one kid that head coach's son.
Yeah.
Or the son to the head coach, and he just you always felt like they were being coddled, like they were being
special treatment.
Yeah, special treatment. And so when I came to
which is hurting the athlete.
Yeah. And so when I came to the gym, that was the number one thing. I didn't want anybody to think that's what that was.
And I can't see Gil doing that anyway.
Yeah.
You're probably harder on him a little bit.
And how I stopped that from happening is that I'll go with those guys. I'll roll with them, and I'll show them why I'm where I'm at, because of the hard work that I put in and how dedicated I am to it. Because I don't want to. I feel like a lot of people, they tend to see oh, Elijah, he's in the UFC because of his dad. I'm like, okay, if that's the case, then come show me. Come show me that you can out wrestle, out grapple, outbox me. Show me on Friday nights, when we have our sparring rounds.
Right.
And I'll show you why I'm where I'm.
That's that chip on the shoulder I was talking about.
I need to be. It's I get fired up sometimes because I'm like, if somebody ever thinks that way, I mean, and I think that came from like just football mentality. Like
Yeah, just get out here on the mat. We'll see
I'm
what's
like,
up.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, show and prove, man.
Yeah. And that's the game, right?
Yeah.
Moving on to the next thing, question for you, Gil. As a business owner, I think one of the things I love about UFC is because I can see principles in motion, and things like that. So you're a business owner, but you're also an MMA, fighter. I mean, you're still actually fighting and working with other athletes and stuff. So what do you see a lot of principles that you use for business that also apply in MMA, like accountability, showing up on time, being the hardest worker in the room? Can you speak to a little bit about that?
Yeah, so the number one thing I learned about business is that I don't know everything.
Mm-hmm.
And same thing with fighting.
Yeah.
And that's why I study. Like I watch so much films. I listen to other fighters and their whole philosophies. I watch other people teaching technique. And I steal things from everyone, and it could be also business too. I will look at another gym and see them do something. I'm like, all right, I'm doing that.
Like, if it's a good idea, it's a good idea. Yeah.
I mean, a good idea is a good idea. I don't care where it comes from. So when you have that mentality, knowing that you don't know everything, like you can become like eager to learn more. And the problem is when someone becomes settled, thinking like they got it down packed. That's when you're gonna miss the
trouble.
buck.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. So I tell people all the time, always find ways to grow. And I also tell my fighters, I tell my athletes, listen, I teach class, I teach you everything that I know, but I don't know everything. You should be doing your own homework. If you thinking coming to class from 6 to 7 o'clock is going to make you a champion, it's not. The champions is the one that's going out there seeking more information, studying, reading, watching videos, coming to me, asking me questions, testing me out. It's okay to test me out. Because the fact is, if I don't know, then I'm like, man, I don't know that.
It helps you learn.
Out. Right,
yeah.
Right. So be willing to keep learning in all facets of life, not even just what you do in the gym. It could be in relationships. It could be like being a parent. It could be in your particular job or class, whatever the case may be. Always find ways to grow as a person. And I think that's going to show more and when you actually go out there and compete.
No, I mean, Cub Swanson podcast that we did, he was talking about how he had a lot of coaches that would do things and he would say, why am I getting this brick off the bottom of the pool and holding my breath down there? Like, and the coach would be like, well, to help you hold your breath. And like Cub Swanson's like, I don't hold my breath in fights.
Right.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
But it was okay to challenge. But to your point, the coach ought to be able to explain, if I'm running a business and an employee's coming to me with something, I'm going to explain to him why we're doing it this way.
Right.
And maybe he's got a better idea. I'm open to it.
Yeah.
But I'm going to probably more often than not explain 2 or 3 things that'll come as a consequence of not doing this. And this is why we do this. But as an owner and a manager, I should be able to explain that stuff.
Well, yeah. And that particular example with jumping into the pool with a brick, right. We don't hold our breaths in fighting. You shouldn't, right? But what I would have said, I'm teaching you how to deal with suffering, how to deal with the fact that when you feel like everything is closing in on you. And what do? How do you survive? That's what it's all about. How do you survive? So this may not transition over as far as technique wise, but it could transition over as like a mental strength. Because if you're in a pool, one of the craziest feelings is to feel like you're drowning, and it makes you panic. But if you can learn how to be calm under the storm, it can change your mentality. It can make you think. And I think the most dangerous fighter to me is the one that's is a thinking fighter. Someone that's a fight IQ. Someone who just swings hard and super strong. I can deal with that guy. That guy that he's breaking me down. He's finding a way. Even if I'm winning, he's starting to
he's downloading
information about
your openings.
me,
Yeah,
and he's thinking and he's surviving. That's a scary dude. Okay, so sometimes even as a fighter, your coach or whoever your mentor may not be the things that they having you do, it may not make sense. It's like the Mr. Miyagi, the wax on, wax off. Like, why the hell are we doing this?
Right.
But come to find out later on, you'll be like, okay, I know why. Because there's a method behind the madness. You got to trust the people you're around.
Sure, but I would just say that if there's an issue, then you're probably willing to explain, well, I've got you doing this because I'm trying to, Yeah,
Yeah.
and so, and then the other thing is like as a business owner, there's never tell someone to do something without telling them why. That's like a good principle.
Mhm.
So if I've got an installer, we're doing this because ABC. And then once they understand the importance of it, now they're more likely to execute as
Mhm.
well. So I just think that's a interesting
Yeah, you know what?
dynamic.
Confusion breeds frustration, and frustration will break down communication, and then everything will be disconnected. So the result you're looking for, it probably won't happen. So yes, communication is very important. I don't want my fighters to be confused about something. I'm gonna explain it, and then we
Mhm.
could talk about it and see if we can make it better, or maybe I'm wrong.
Right.
Maybe this drill or technique or workout, it doesn't make sense. Like I thought it did, and you could explain to me, because you got to explain like a little bit from your body,
Sure.
like from his body. You're like, okay, Dad, this doesn't feel good to me. Like it's not helping me. I'm like, okay, well let's try this.
Hmm.
So no, I like that.
Yeah. So just it's a team. Everybody's getting better as you keep working together and improve things for sure. Um, Gil, if you had one thing to recommend to MMA athletes coming up, if you had, let's just say, one of the top 10 things you would recommend, what would your advice be to, let's call it a 15-year-old kid that's getting into jujitsu or taekwondo or starting to go down the MMA path?
I mean, as far as the sport goes, wrestle.
Okay.
Physically,
As far as the base.
yeah, your base. I would
Yeah.
say wrestle. If you want to get into MMA, start wrestling. It's
Mhm.
easier. Anybody that comes to my gym, if they had a striking background, it's
Mhm.
harder for me to teach them grappling. But if they have a grappling background, it's easier for me to teach them striking.
Mhm.
Okay, so let's just start there. In wrestling, the reason why I love wrestling, I love wrestling as far as the base for MMA even more than jujitsu, because of the strength. It teach you how to become a powerful athlete. I think sometimes this whole new age jujitsu, people pulling guard and bamboling, rolling off your back and doing all these foot locks, it's good for like competition jujitsu, but not for MMA.
Mhm.
And it's definitely not, I don't think it's good for self defense either. But wrestling will put you on your feet and make you go grind.
Mhm.
And it's a constant grind. It will make you a better athlete, more explosive, stronger mentally, everything. The other piece, that's physically.
Mhm.
Mentally, I would tell you, make sure you pay your coaches a lot of money. I'm kidding, I'm joking. But I would say, make sure you surround yourself with people that's doing good, that
Mhm.
actually has experience. I see a lot of fighters that would get with a coach who's never fought. And that could go either way. That's kind of weird to me, but it could go either way. But also haven't had the experience of like being there. How are you going to teach me to be an athlete when you have never been an athlete, or been a champion? When you smoking and drinking and you walk around with this persona like you just don't want to represent. So be around people that actually is about something in some form or fashion. I think that's important.
Mhm. That makes sense. You got anything you want to add to that as far as advice for young MMA?
Yeah, I get asked this a lot, but like I get a lot of DMs like, "Hey Elijah, I'm getting ready to, start training and become MMA. Is there we're like, how do I get started?" I'm like, that's easy. Where do you live? Find your local nearest, home gym.
Mhm.
And the 3 C's. Do you want to tell them what the 3 C's is?
Yeah. The 3 C's I have is, you have to be competent. That means learn.
Mhm.
Like actually learn the stuff. Don't just do it. You should learn it to be able to do it, and learn to be able to teach it. That's when you know you master it.
Mhm.
Okay. And then you want consistency. Show up. Don't show up when you're feeling good. Like, oh,
Mhm.
coach, I got a headache. I can't come train. What?
That's the
You,
best time to show up.
right.
Right.
Coach, my girlfriend left me. I mean, something happened, like a dog died. I can
Sure. Yeah.
understand you need a minute. But
Well,
even then, even when I'm the saddest, when I was going through a divorce, when I
Mhm.
was going through different things, you know what I did? I went to the gym.
Mhm.
That's my happy place. That's where I know I can be productive and I can grow. So competent, consistency, and then competition,
Mhm.
right? Then go out there and actually compete on some level. Okay, competition could be training in the gym, getting some sparring, could be jiu-jitsu tournaments, boxing, whatever the case may be. Go out there and compete. Try yourself. It doesn't matter if you win or lose. Okay, this is about how can you get better.
Put
Mhm.
yourself in that fire, really. Just put yourself in
See
that
where you're
fire.
at. See if you
Yeah.
enjoy it or not. You
Yeah.
And
know.
I've seen a lot of people, like I can't tell you how many people I've seen. Like I think the biggest one out of all the 3 C's is consistency.
100%.
That's the biggest one.
I agree 100%. I mean, and we were talking about sales earlier and buying vehicles and stuff, but as a lifelong sales guy and business owner, the one thing I think, even if employees that don't like me, because of course it's my fault when things don't work out, um, I have to think that if you talk to anybody that I've worked with, consistency. I'm there. I'm pretty predictable. I'm going to be there every day. Maybe, I had COVID. I didn't go to work a couple days or something. But at the end of the day, like, I'm there. And it's hard to compete with somebody who's always there.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's the same way for you guys.
I'm gonna add to that.
All right, go for it.
Okay. So being there is one thing, right? And that's obviously you
Mhm.
have to be there, but
Yeah.
you have to be there, like, and willing to work.
Sure. Yeah.
See, I get guys that will come to the gym, and class starts at 6. They show up at 6. Class in the class will end at 7. They will leave at 7.
Mm.
Okay, and they would check it off
Check
the
the
box,
box. Yeah.
and say, I showed up today.
Yeah.
Okay, but did you really show up? So it's not about like counting the reps. It's about
Mhm.
making the reps count.
Mm-hmm.
During class, was you repping out? Was you asking questions? Was you pushing yourself? Because, like, who said it? Ali said it. He don't count the reps until they start burning.
Mm.
So the first 10 reps, the first 100 reps, you can knock out 100 times. They don't count until you start until it starts burning. That's when you start hitting that muscle
That's
growth.
the winner mindset right there.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So showing up is great,
Mm-hmm.
but showing up with like a work ethic, knowing that today you're going to give it your all, that's even better.
Definitely. 100%. Couldn't agree more. Just looking back, Elijah, I watched the series on YouTube. Now that you guys told me where it was, I was waiting for it to come out on ESPN Plus. Couldn't find it for some reason, YouTube, but I watched it. It was awesome. How cool is it for you to go watch that back? And Dana White stands up and goes, "That was fucking awesome."
I think when I first watched it, it was like I saw the behind the scenes, like they showed the behind the scenes, like what they thought about me.
Yeah.
And when I first watched it, I was like, oh damn, that is crazy. That
That's
is
awesome.
crazy to sit there and like, yo, Dana White and Sean Shelby and Mick Maynard, like they like what they saw.
Yeah.
And it was just like a eye opener, like, oh damn, Elijah, like this was what before that, because before that I was like, I didn't know if I secured my contract.
Sure.
So when I go back and I look at the video and I see what they were talking about, what they were saying about me, I'm like, yo, that's so crazy.
That's
Because
pretty awesome.
they're like, yo, Elijah, I love him. We're gonna sign him. But in
Oh,
my
that's cool
head,
to see. That was
but in
cool
my
to see.
head,
That's
I was
pretty
thinking
awesome,
like,
yeah.
man, I don't think I got
I
the
hope I did
contract.
enough. It's
Yeah,
a decision.
exactly.
So,
Yeah.
but you fought a dog in the
Yeah.
Contender Series too. That guy was pretty impressive as
Yeah.
well,
And
man.
since then, that guy has won 3 fights.
I believe it.
I think
He was.
he's on the road to the UFC right now. I think he's in the finals right now.
Yeah.
It won't surprise me if he ends up in the UFC.
Yeah.
He seems like he
Yeah.
definitely had the talent
He
for
had
sure.
the grit. Yeah, he did go down to 125.
Okay.
He was a small guy, short, stocky guy.
Okay.
And he was a bulldog.
So Elijah, going forward to be the best you can be, what pitfalls do you need to avoid?
I feel like I need to avoid the toxic people that are around me. People that are just like leeching. Like I've had people, friends that I've known for years, before I got signed to the UFC. Elijah, I want to go to your fights. Let me know when the next one is, when it's local. I have one local, and I could probably count on my own fingers outside of my my gym, because my gym, they always come out and support.
Yeah.
The people that said that I was gonna be there, they weren't there. So it's like, do you really support my dream? And sometimes I feel like there's people that are out there that are waiting for me to fail. Like they see you doing good so much, they're like, man, I can't wait to see Elijah.
Oh, there's definitely those out there.
So,
Thank God.
Yeah.
They're
No,
blessings.
definitely.
Yeah.
So it's like those things, like those type of people, for me, it's like avoiding that. Having people around me that have the best interest in my dreams, not having anybody that's envious of my success. And I feel like I've been able to, with me and my pops, I've been able to build a good team. I have a small circle of my homeboys that they just want to see me win.
Yeah.
They're like that. Like they've been to my fights. They've drove out to, I had a fight in Greeley. I think Greeley's like 2.5 hours away. They were there when I was here, having local fights. They were there when we first had the first fight promotion back in Colorado since COVID, and it was just like those are the type of people that I want to keep around. For everybody else, it's like I appreciate the love for from a distance because I don't know what your true intentions are.
Sure.
But I mean, my life is simple.
That's awesome. You're on the lookout for that already.
Yeah,
That's good.
yeah, no, definitely. But yeah, like, my life is simple though. I wake up, I brush my teeth, I go to work. After work, I go to the gym, and then I'm coming back home.
Yeah.
And if I do go out, it's probably for the most part, it'll be either for my birthday or like last night. You know, me and the guys will either go to Top Golf. Last night we went bowling.
Mhm.
Like we want to do some stuff outside that's like
Sure.
that's actually
Decompression.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
actually fun and be around, and it's really cool that I can go to them and they still see me as Elijah and they don't see me as Elijah Swift Smith, the UFC fighter. Because at the end of the day, I tell them every day, I'm like, I haven't changed not one bit. Like
Mhm.
I'm still the person. Like if you need some, call on me. I still
Yeah.
got you. And I hope it's vice versa. If I ever need something, I could be somebody or you could be somebody for me that I can call on.
Right. Now we are going to get you on Omni at some point, though.
Yeah, that's got to be the one. I've been seeing so like I think the last time when we went out to not the last time, but when Alex Pereira fought the first time, Ankalaev, that was like one of my destinations I wanted to go, and I was like it was just it was so packed. It was so crazy out there. And I can only imagine. I'm sorry, man.
Yeah, I know, but
it's going to be packed the second time around. I know it.
Yeah. You know what? I would say this. When you're winning, your phone is lit. You know
Oh,
what
I
I'm saying?
bet,
Everybody texting you, everybody hitting you up and social media. When you lose, you be like, dang, ain't no one calling you.
Yeah.
And that's how you know, like, your real friends, because your real friends are going to be there. Like, they don't care if you win or lose.
Yeah.
They just want to make sure you're healthy, you're happy, and you like mentally okay. And because there always going to be people that's going to want you to lose. And I get it. This is a competitive sport. Like, they want your spot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or they jealous of your spot. So
like one of my friends actually, he his name is Shy, and he was the guy that I went to the concert with this past weekend, and he was actually there when I fought Junior Cortez. He flew out to San Antonio, or was it in Houston?
Really?
Yeah, it was in San Antonio because I remember the day after we ended up to decompress from the night before. We went to the boardwalk.
Yeah, I was in so much pain too. I had like a bad sciatic problem.
But yeah, he was so shy. He was at my fight, and obviously he saw me lose. The only person, the only friend that has ever seen me get finished live. And so like every time that I'm with him, like he
brings it up.
No. He actually, I sometimes always think like, I wonder what he's thinking. Like, damn, Elijah, I see, but he's never brought it up, and he's always talked about my success. He's always been like, he was there when I won the Combat Club title. He was actually in Vegas for my last fight.
Really?
Yeah, he was trying to get tickets, but I was like, it was at the Apex. I was like,
tickets to the Apex.
Oh, those are tough. Yeah.
Those are cool. Yeah.
But yeah, he's always been around, and like guys like that like are willing to like travel or really supportive of your career. That's how you keep it.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome with the financial commitment of supporting you when they're traveling and stuff.
Have friends that like I feel like we all have friends that that might do some stuff, like they party a lot and they might drink, they might smoke or something like that. But the ones that are really like, they have, like I said, they have your best interest. Like Elijah, I know you got to go to the gym. Like, should you be at the gym? You shouldn't even be here. I'm like,
yeah. Well, I can relate when I'm around Evan Elder or someone like that. Like, I'm not trying to keep him up too late. Evan Elder's like, just by the book, man. He's just, I can't eat that. Yeah. I mean, he's a machine. But a good friend wants to encourage you, man. I don't want you eating this quesadilla and then feeling bad tomorrow, because you ate a slice of quesadilla, But he's like that, and your good friends are going to want to support you,
They want to see you. They want to see you succeed.
Yeah, absolutely, and encourage you to be your best you can be, But that also comes from being secure, Insecure people don't want to encourage you, because if you go too far without them, it makes them feel bad. So a couple more things to touch on, because I feel like we could talk for another hour, but just kind of winding down here. One of the things I love that your company, Subaru, you want to give them a shout out, Subaru here in Colorado Springs?
Yeah. I appreciate them for doing everything that they've done for me. With my fight career, giving me a place to another home. They
Yeah.
they they done a lot, and yeah, I can't thank them anymore.
But there's a book called Seven Habits of Highly Effective People, talks about emotional bank accounts. And from listening to you, it sounds like you've done your job making good deposits. You're showing up, you're doing your job, you're good to people. You're a valuable team member there. So they work with you
Mhm.
to help you accomplish your goals.
Yeah, I mean, just like for times like this. So, UFC, when this podcast gets put out, the fights will have already been done. But October 4th, they invited me out October 4th of this year to go watch the Alex Pereira fight. And I told my job, like, hey, the UFC, they want to have me out as a guest fighter. Is there any way that I can get, time off?
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, yeah, what day? Oh, Thursday or Sunday? Done. And it's like, I've had people in the company, they're like, and then sometimes they joke around, but sometimes I feel like they're being serious. Like they'll be like, dang, Elijah, you get to do whatever you want. I'm like, it's not me doing whatever I want. It's me being a good employee. You've never seen me call in. You never seen me late. If I called in, like it's been something serious. Like I'm
Mm-hmm.
either like I'm stuck in the bed, or like,
It's not because you
yeah,
didn't feel like going
yeah,
to work today.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I do a good job. I'm taking care of customers. I'm just being a team player.
Mm-hmm.
And that's from me. Like I started working at the company when I was 17, and I started off as a lube tech, and lube techs, or not a lube tech, a detailer. So
Mm-hmm.
I would take I get the nastiest cars, and you know I would.
I detailed cars
Yeah,
after the
yeah, it
military,
would just,
actually.
especially when it comes down to
Yeah.
Subarus, and oh man, they people tend to like just
Mud everywhere. Yeah.
I found dead rats, and
Oh.
yeah, I've dealt with some nasty cars, but all of that, I just stayed focused, and even if it wasn't where I wanted to be, I was like, Elijah, this is, you can continue on, you can still support your fight career with this job, because
Mm-hmm.
they've been very open about, very flexible about your schedule. And then also, I also give them like, show them videos,
Mm-hmm.
because it's kind of hard to tell people like, hey, I'm working to be an MMA fighter or whatnot, and you don't have anything to show from it. Like they don't see, like I'll show my managers, like, yo, look, this will work, like, check this workout, or
Mm-hmm.
follow me on Instagram, like follow my journey, because I want them to know that I'm not BSing them
Sure.
when it's like I'm trying to get to the next level, so they actually see the dream, and they can believe it. And what that would show is like, oh, okay, I want to see Elijah, I want to be as supportive as I can to see Elijah make it to the UFC.
And I believe most employers will
Yeah.
work with you when you're a valuable member like
Yeah.
that. So it's good for
Yeah,
the average person out there that's an employee. Like,
Yeah.
it's a family type environment in a lot of cases.
yeah. It's like a relationship that kind of feeds each other. But the truth is, Elijah can actually quit that job. I
Mhm.
mean, like he made enough with the UFC that
Sure.
he doesn't have to get up every day and go to work,
Right.
but he does it because that's just the person he is. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And like he's willing to go to work at 8 o'clock, get off at 4, and then go straight to the gym.
Mhm.
So that type of person you want on your team.
Mhm.
So
I can never be so certain of like where I'm at right now. Like I'm
Mhm.
not, I know that anything can happen at any
Sure.
given time. And so I just like to be secure.
Yeah,
I
you want to
mean,
keep the bridges
yeah,
going
yeah,
and
keep the
don't burn
income.
them. And
Yeah, exactly. And then
yeah,
who knows? Like I even told him this. Like I was like, hey, even if something doesn't work out, you always want to leave on a good term.
I just thought of your OnlyFans name.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
if you do the OnlyFans
Yeah,
name, Lube Tech.
Lube Tech, yeah.
Lube
Lube
Tech
Tech,
Swift.
yeah. They'll be like, hold on, what they doing here?
Oh, please don't do that.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things I'm most excited, Elijah, is that I think you're going to reach a lot of youth. I think a lot of youth coming up can learn that work ethic, learn the success principles and things like that from your example. So that's one of the things I'm excited about for you. And I think you're going to be able to reach a lot of people that maybe I can't reach, or Tony Robbins isn't going to reach, or, fill in the blank. Like, you can be that next generation of leader to show people, like, hey, there's all this opportunity in this country. Like you can go work hard, be diligent, be part of a team and accomplish something no matter where you're at. Because I didn't grow up with the dad. You're blessed with a great dad and a great example. And there's a lot of people out there that don't really have a dad in their life. But a lot of times, and I'd encourage anybody listening to this that maybe is in that situation, maybe you don't have a mentor, you don't have a Gil that you can lean on. But through your example, they can learn through your principles, and you live in your life. They can learn from that.
And there was one cool thing that happened about like a week and a half ago. I had went to Walmart, and there was two kids there, two kids that were working, and both of them, they both recognized me. And the first kid, he actually said that he was training at a gym called Warriors, and he was like, I want to be an MMA fighter. At first, when he saw me, he was like, Elijah Smith. He was like, you're still in Colorado? I was like, yeah, I'm not going anywhere. Like, but how I knew them was that I went back to my high school, and I talked to them. They were on the football team, and it was just cool to go back and like, I'm just shopping around, grabbing some groceries, and I love to talk. So I never like if I get stopped by somebody, like I'll yap with them all day. And but the big
We'll give them a couple minutes.
yeah,
Some
yeah,
people
yeah.
take it too far.
Yeah, no,
I've seen that
definitely.
too.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
has happened. But
Yeah.
for the most part, I'm always open. But one of the kids, when I was getting checked out, he was like, Elijah, he was like, you might not know it, but I'm actually like, you're an inspiration to me.
Yeah.
And I was like, me, I was like, damn, I'm thinking like I'm 23. I've had people call me Unc, which is crazy. I'm like, yo, but it's like, there's a lot of kids around my age, or even younger that are like, yo, I see what Elijah Smith is doing.
Mm-hmm.
I can do the same thing if I
Right.
just put my mind to it. I'm like, hell yeah, you can.
Yeah.
You can. All it takes is a little bit of determination, a little bit of sacrifice, and I like to say a little bit of pain.
Yeah.
A little bit of pain.
Well, that's what's exciting is you're not to put more weight on your shoulders, but at the end of the day, like you could be a real positive in so many people's minds. And just kind of coming down the pipe here. One of the things that you talked about is your dad has really shared a lot of financial responsibility with you, and I think you said something about him being a tight ass or something like that. So, but at the end of the day, like being frugal and being smart with your money ultimately, because sadly the schools don't teach us. Like I think back when I was going to school, they didn't teach me free enterprise. They didn't teach me how to be a business owner. They didn't teach me the importance of my credit. They didn't teach me the importance of money management. They didn't teach me interest compounding, like all the things that make you successful. And without doing a whole nother podcast, like I think we're almost set up to fail and just to be like employees for the big corporations. Like I almost think
rich needs poor people.
They need workers.
Yeah, they need people to be poor. Not everybody can be rich.
And so the thing that, like, as a 51-year-old guy who's still in the process of trying to make it, but let's say you make it, like when you make it, you just want to give back to the other people, but they got to be receptive to listen to it, and that's where I think you've got a great platform to be able to teach some of these things that maybe inner city youth, that all they have is gangsters and rappers and drug dealers. Maybe that's all they got, but all of a sudden they're watching UFC because UFC is pretty fucking cool. And then they see these examples of people that are not only doing athletics at a high level, but they're also the example in so many other areas with finances. And you're going to have a platform to be able to talk about that stuff so people can lift themselves out of their situations, which is awesome.
Like I talked to some of my friends last night, like I said, after when we were done bowling, and I was telling them I was giving them a little bit of a breakdown of what it's like being a UFC fighter. After, you getting paid, who you got to pay out, taxes. It's a lot because a lot of these UFC fighters, and they're not my friends, obviously they're not fighters at all.
Sure.
But I can only imagine how many UFC fighters that haven't been, who haven't made it yet.
Mm-hmm.
They're not even thinking about, the financial side of the game.
Right.
All they're thinking about is still UFC. I mean, I think the best advice that I got was when I went up to, we cross trained with a gym called Factory X, and just talking with guys like Chris and Yusuf, and they're like what they did when they got their bonus and stuff like that, and what they've experienced. It's like, okay, I'm taking all that information, I'm putting that in my back pocket,
Yeah.
because I know I'm only getting started with my career. So if I can hop on this early now, and not only hop on it early now, but take it with me and bring it back to the guys at the gym, because we got a lot of young guys that are coming up as well. So it's like, hey, just look out for some stuff. Think about this, think about, for my dad, he told me about a couple of weeks ago too, about a high yielding bank account.
Mm-hmm.
Something that a lot of people, that a lot of guys, like, that they don't know about.
Yeah, if you're gonna have
All
the
they
cash
know,
sitting there, you
yeah.
might as well get interest on it. Yeah, for
And I
sure.
was one of them too. I was
Yeah.
like, I just have it in my, in my savings, and
Sure.
I'm just like,
We don't know what you don't know.
yeah, exactly.
You
So
know?
it's like, to know that information, and not just keep it for myself. Like, I'm not gatekeeping the information.
Mm-hmm.
I want to keep spreading out the information so
Yeah.
that,
Help everybody level
yeah,
up.
exactly.
And
Yeah.
also, I would tell fighters too, it's not only to understand financial things like that, but also how to build a brand. So we know, like, now fighters get pushed when they have a good brand behind them, when they
Mm-hmm.
can talk and they have the look and they have the fans and the following. And I tell my guys all the time, unfortunately, we live in a social media era.
Mm-hmm.
You should be building up your social media.
Definitely.
Why would a company want to do business with you to, like, sponsor you? Like, I get fighters all the time, I need sponsors. Why would a company sponsor you? Just to
Mm-hmm.
give you money when you have no following, you have no social media, you
Mm-hmm.
haven't really done nothing in the sport.
Right.
You have to be able to go out there and promote yourself and sell yourself to the masses. Not just to your family and friends
Mm-hmm.
or to, like, the fans, but like to the casuals. And when you start to learn to do that, it's going to be a lot easier for you to actually grow and build some money and to build a base. And now the UFC is going to be knocking on your door like, I want that guy.
Right.
So building your brand is also another big thing that fighters need to learn to do almost from day one, really.
Right. I agree 100%. And the other thing is being able to leave the fight business on your terms.
Yeah.
When you're ready to roll out.
That's what I did. I believe I had one of the best retirements you could possibly have. Besides, I was coming off the Ultimate Fighter.
I think Robbie Lawler.
Well, I mean, okay, at that level. But I'm talking about, anyways, at my level, because I retired here in Colorado at the First Bank Center, which is now called something else, I believe. And I actually retired on a win, but I had all of my family there, and it was just a really cool experience because I knew I was getting to the point. I was like, I'm not going to keep fighting tough ass guys, making pennies and not going nowhere because nobody was going to sign me at the time. But to be able to walk away from the sport when my body feels great, no major injuries, I could still train and compete and maybe grappling tournaments if I get that itch, and most importantly, I could share my knowledge with the youth. So yeah, knowing when to step away, it's important.
Yeah. And that was honestly part of the whole business model. We talked about that originally where, if I could help fighters create revenue where they're making money, they can have the money to leave and not take those extra fight or extra 2 fights and maybe taking damage you don't, obviously don't want to take.
However, but you got to find fighters that's willing to be not just take from you, but actually become a partner with you.
Sure, yeah.
And most fighters don't understand that. They just think a company is going to sponsor them just to give them free stuff. No. When a company sponsor you, they basically saying, hey, we want to become a partner with you. They need to see some type of return.
Sure.
In some form or fashion.
Yeah.
And if you're not willing to give it, like we had companies like Sheaf that's been great sponsors to us, and they would complain about other fighters that would just really take their money and don't do anything for them. As we like building content for them, giving them videos, giving them shout outs, just kind of promoting their brand, that's when you have someone like that's going to work well for you.
It comes back to what you're saying about relationships. You want to give to the relationship as well, versus just taking all the time.
If you believe in a company, like for instance, like your company, cigars, and the fact that like seeing your brand and the things you're doing with this company is so fascinating. It's like I am blessed to be like even a part of it on like an aside, because I know Elijah is the main guy, but just to see it is like it's a blessing, because I really believe what you have going on with the cigars is like actually I want to smoke a cigar now, and and to see my son be a part of it, it's a blessing. But I do know Elijah has to work for it too.
Mhm.
Like he has to help you build your brand and vice versa, and then you got a great relationship.
Yeah. Well, Elijah, you make those cigars look good, so we're gonna do just fine.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say a word if you guys don't mind. I'm gonna say a word and let me know what you think about the word, just whatever comes to mind.
Yep.
First word is compete.
Wow. Love it.
Love compete.
Yeah.
Ego.
Ego. Okay.
Because when I compete, my ego comes out. Like, you think you're gonna beat me? You sign that contract. You sign that contract is telling me that you think you could beat me.
Well, and I say love it because it's a passion.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something that's hard for me to like. Even when I shouldn't, I still want to.
Yeah. No, I'm again 51. I love competing, whether it's cornhole, chess, like whatever it is. I don't want to get kicked in the face, though, that's for sure. Faith.
Oh man, yeah. Faith. I would say that's a tough one.
I would say faith. My faith runs deep in a different way that people don't typically think. When they think of faith, praying to God. I'm not super religious.
Mhm.
I'm not Christian. I'm not Mormon. My girlfriend, she's actually Mormon, but I do believe that there's a higher up, and I'm a big believer in karma too.
Mm.
Like, I mean, whatever you do is gonna kick back to you in some type of way, whether if it's positive or negative.
Yeah.
So I believe in my faith of like just being a good person and just being the best Elijah Smith that I can possibly be.
Yeah.
And that, it'll come back full circle.
I love what Dr. Joe says. He says he believes, Dr. Joe Dispenza, by the way, I love Dr. Joe. He goes, you're not punished. We're talking about karma. He says, you're not punished for your sins. You punish yourself for your sins. Like you put it out in the universe and you know it. If you, whether it's right or wrong, if you thought it was wrong, that's going to come back to you, So I didn't mean to cut you off, Gil.
No, it's fine. So the word faith, I think people use it in the wrong way. They're like, well, I'm just going to pray to God. I'm going to pray to Jesus. I'm going to pray to Allah. I'm going to pray whatever. And I honestly really believe God bless those that bless themselves.
Right.
So your faith has to be rooted in the fact that you're willing to put in the hard work. Because if you just think you're just going to get blessed and you're going to put it in God's hands, like nothing's going to change.
Right.
There's 8 billion other people then God could be blessing. Okay, is the fact that are you willing to go out there and put in the hard work? So my faith is going to be based around the hard work that I'm willing to put in, so I could earn whatever blessings that's gonna come my way.
I like it. Well, I mean, just from a Christian point of view, faith without works is dead. I mean, that's what it says in the Bible. If you have faith, you better put the work. If you're not putting in the work, you don't have the faith. It goes together. Family, next word.
It's everything.
Everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, family for me, it's sentimental. I mean, it's close to my heart. Without the support from my family, I feel like I wouldn't be where I am today.
Yeah, and family doesn't always have to mean blood related. Like, a lot of times the guys I spend with in the gym, I spend more time with them than I do with my actual real family. Lucky enough, my son is there, so I can spend time with him. But like, family just means the people that you unconditionally love.
Your community.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Integrity.
If you don't have the integrity, then you like. I tell people like, I got 2 things. I got my balls and my word, and I don't break it for anyone. So
did you say your balls?
My balls.
Okay, I want to make sure I heard that right.
Right. In other words, I'm just not gonna let you punk me.
Sure.
But also, if I give you my word that I'm going to do something, then I'm going to do it. And if I can't do it, it's not because I just quit on it. It's because I physically can't do it.
And you're going to own it, probably.
Yeah, right, exactly.
You're going to own that, hey, I couldn't deliver. I'm sorry.
One, you're never going to punk me. You're never going to break my balls.
Right.
You're never going to punk me. And 2, I'm never going to tell you I'm going to do something and just flake on you.
Yeah.
I feel like that comes down to like with integrity is also accountability. It's like being on the football field. If there's 11 men, or 22 in total, offense to defense. If one person doesn't make that block, and he misses it, and he's trying to blame it. Oh, well, the reason why is because so and so is no, you missed your block.
Right.
That's called accountability. Take
Yeah.
accountability, and it's like if you're trying to be a MMA fighter, if you're trying to make it to the UFC, you have to go back and look yourself in the mirror and be accountable of some of the decisions that you made.
Right.
Have you been, doing the things that you need to do during your fight camp to be the best you when it comes fight night?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I think, integrity and accountability, they also kind of match up together.
Yeah. Last word, accountability.
Yeah.
Gil, I'll let you since Elijah already nailed it.
Yeah, I mean, accountability is like, I'm gonna say accountability is also taking accountability into the fact, like, when you were doing wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And just like you said, like, you can't blame the other person. Like, you have to look at yourself and realize, why did I not succeed?
Mm-hmm.
And the truth is, a lot of it starts with you.
Mm-hmm.
There always gonna be outside stuff that's gonna affect your wins and losses. But the fact is, and this is why I love MMA more than I love football, right? Actually, I don't really care for football, but is the fact that MMA or fighting in general, boxing, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, it's like you versus another person.
Mm-hmm.
Your wins and losses is mostly because of you.
It's not so many other people.
Yeah, it's not because your teammate didn't pass you the ball or the quarterback didn't, whatever the case may be. Is the fact that you went out there and you have to give your best. And some days it's going to be a good day, and some days it's going to be a bad day.
Right.
But it's all about you taking accountability for your wins and losses. And I would say this. When you lose, I would say that's about 80% you, maybe 20% the coach.
Mm-hmm.
But when you win, it's about 80% the coach and 20% you. And you're like, hold on. That's not fair. So you're saying if I lose, I take all the responsibility. But if I win, it goes to my coaches. And I say, yes, because your coaches, and I'm not talking about this coach, it could be coaches throughout your whole life. They don't want to taught you everything about this sport. You wouldn't be able to know, like, to throw a punch, or kick, or takedown, or armbar if your coaches did not teach you. So I would say coaches give you so much in this sport that you have to give them credit.
Mm-hmm.
So when you win, it's done, right? I mean, that's just my personal opinion on that.
No, I'm a real big believer in that, to where if people are giving you all this credit, that's your time to shine back on the people that support you and help you. So, like, I talk about Julie all the time, or, Pat, our attorney, and stuff like that. But kind of wrapping up, I have a guest appearance here that I wanted to bring out. So this was how we originally got connected here. So for anybody who doesn't know, I'm a MMA crackhead. And so this is a little piece of history that I purchased.
That is so crazy.
And that's from the debut against Vince Morales.
Vince Morales.
I mean, a veteran OG.
What a fight that was.
Yeah, it was a dog fight. And Vince is Vince is a dog, and the casual fan may not know him, but this is pride for me right here. I love this jersey. So it's there going up next to GSP's final jersey and next to Kyle Barajo's debut gloves. So dope. This is you know what this is? We talked about high interest yielding savings account.
That's what
this is an investment right here. And when I saw you, my original thought was, this guy reminds me of Michael Morales. I know. Good looking, young, like, you got striking, you got grappling. Then I found out about dad's involved, and like, I got to have that jersey, man. Yeah. So thank you for all the hard work. You're making me money. No, but I'm super excited to have this, and thank you for the time today, guys. Thank you for sharing everything, and look forward to doing this when you get the belt. Let's come back and have another podcast.
Man, come back, have another podcast, have some more cigars.
That's it. That's how we're gonna do it. And speaking of cigars, Gil, we're gonna get you. We're gonna pop your cigar cherry.
Yeah.
And
I'm nervous.
Yeah.
I'm more nervous to, like, looking stupid, because, like, I'm 44 years old.
No, you're not gonna look stupid.
Yeah, and it's like, I should have done this by now.
Well,
like the fact that I've never smoked a cigar, it's a weird thing, and I'm not at 44, but I guess it's
time
too late.
Time to I just hope you don't body slam someone in the parking lot because you're feeling so jacked out there. Well, thanks again for taking the time, and thanks for joining us for another 5 Things podcast. We'll see you next time.